Let us now look at an ideal Sharia governance model and its role in essentializing ESG. To start with, it is recognized that the foundational axioms of Islamic management and political economy provide a framework consisting of Tawheed, Adalah, Tazkiyah, Rububiyah, Fard, Khalifa, and Maqasid al-Shariah. These are building blocks for developing an ideal Islamic governance framework. Let us look into these terms in more detail. Tawheed means oneness of God, while Adalah means social justice. Tazkiyah represents purification and growth. Rububiyah is the divine arrangements for nourishment and directed things towards their perfection. Fard implies mandatory actions, and Khalifa stands for stewardship, basically the responsibility of humans to take care of the earth. In this model, stakeholder interest extends beyond just financial returns or maximizing profit. The core framework of corporate governance in Islam includes several key elements. Tawheed, the concept of oneness; Shura, consultation; adherence to Sharia rules; the principles of contract and property rights; and balancing private goals with the responsibility towards social welfare. To operationalize this broader stakeholder-centric governance model, internal Sharia compliance units can play a critical role. These units ensure the practical application of Islamic principles by assessing the alignment of organizational activities with ESG objectives. For example, they can establish metrics to evaluate the social impact of investments, such as financial inclusion initiatives, or the environmental impact of projects, such as resource efficiency and carbon reduction. Integrating these metrics into regular Sharia reviews ensures that governance systems translate Islamic principles into tangible outcomes. In an Islamic corporate governance model, the rights of all stakeholders, whether they hold equity or not, are equitably protected within the financial institution. This approach secures the rights of a broader group of stakeholders, somewhat similar to the principles of environmental, social, and governance. Traditionally, Islamic corporate governance is centered around stakeholders. This means that the governance style and structures are designed to protect the interests and rights of all stakeholders, not just the shareholders. Lewis, in his 2005 study, defined corporate governance in relation to whom, for whom, and to whom. Each dimension can be mapped to a structure which comprises the Shura, Hizbah, and Sharia supervisory process. For instance, Shuratic process provides vehicles to ensure that corporate activities and strategies are fully discussed and that consensus is reached after applying consultative process. The institution of Hizbah offers a framework of social ethics that is relevant to monitoring the corporation with the objective of encouraging correct ethical values and behavior in a wider social context. As you know, incorporating ESG-specific roles into Sharia supervisory process can strengthen this ethical framework. For example, Hizbah system can be expanded to include monitoring ESG risks, such as environmental degradation or social inequality. By embedding these considerations into the institution's governance mechanisms, Islamic financial institutions can enhance their contribution to Maqasid al-Shariah while addressing global sustainability challenges. According to Islamic ontology, corporate governance is shaped by how organizations are set up. Islam defines the structure of Islamic corporate governance in companies. This includes how decisions are made, who owns what, how information is shared and coordinated, and what incentives are given. These mechanisms should be contextualized in line with by whom, for whom and to whom. Now, let's look at the roles each party plays in this framework. The regulatory and supervisory authority mainly works to keep economic stability and make sure laws are followed. They do this by setting rules for good corporate governance, supervising how it works, and checking compliance. The addition of ESG-focused committees working alongside Sharia boards provides an opportunity to address sustainability challenges systematically. These committees can collaborate with regulatory and supervisory authorities to align ESG goals with Sharia-compliant practices. For example, they can oversee the development of green finance initiatives or social impact projects, ensuring these align with Islamic ethical values and contribute to sustainable development. Shareholders' concerns are wealth maximization in the sense that satisfactory earnings per share are achieved, or what we call dividends. In that regard, the appointment of the fit and proper boards, management auditors, and Sharia boards is crucial for fulfilling and achieving wealth maximization. Investment account holders' concern is that they will receive repayment of deposits on the agreed terms, protection of their interest and profit. That is achieved through monitoring the investment performance of the financial institution pool. The Sharia board or committee focus on the Sharia compliance of financial products by protecting the rights and interests of depositor and other stakeholders. Board of Directors' role is to set the Islamic financial institutions' direction and policies so that monetary and non-monetary goals are achieved. Finally, management implements the policies set by the Board of the Directors so that monetary and non-monetary compensation and commitment to the clients, the contract are fulfilled. The Board of Directors and senior management focus on the operational side of risk, credit risk, liquidity of the company, market risk, and rate of return risk. However, ecological, social, and governance risks are also considered, even though they relate to all these types of risks. Sharia boards are expected to take on the responsibility to not only uphold Sharia compliancy, but also Islamic moral expectations. We notice here that organizations aim to maximize profit for their shareholders or owners by seeking and maximizing the benefits and utilities of all the stakeholders. As Islam essentializes an extended stakeholding consisting of workers, shareholders, society, environment, others. In neoclassical economics, individuals are seen as aiming to maximize their personal utilities. However, under Islamic normative assumptions, an individual referred to as Homo Islamicus is motivated by social welfare and the common good. This is based on the principles that define a sociotropic individual whose objective maximization involves achieving falah, which means success in this world and the hereafter. This objective is concentrated by implications for taqwa, which encompasses forbearance, fear, and abstinence, and ihsan, or the act of doing good. In the same way, some Islamic firms work based on these basic principles. This approach guides how the organization is managed, its nature, process, and results, while considering a wide range of stakeholders. This approach suggests that maximizing the objective function in these Islamic firms is influenced by a wide array of factors. The Islamic governance model being proposed is dynamic and must align with Islamic norms as defined by its key elements and principles. While following this process is necessary, it is not sufficient on its own. The results of this process also need to be evaluated based on Islamic normative principles, which guides both the process and expected outcomes according to an axiomatic approach. This governance model strives to maximize Ihsani social capital, which is reducing the discrepancy between ideal Ihsani social capital expected through normative principles and the actual Ihsani social capital that emerge from day-to-day practices. The goal is to minimize this gap, enhancing the falah or success for everyone involved, individuals, organizations, and other stakeholders. This is because in the Islamic view of corporate governance, everyone shares responsibility for both managing the process and the outcomes that result from it. As the postmodern approach through social contractivism and corporate governance in actual life suggests, different management styles can be possible. This justifies and rationalizes why an Islamic governance model with its normative assumptions should exist. The emergence of Islamic finance suggests that if finance can be managed through Islamic normative assumptions and principles, organizations should be governed, administered, and managed through Islamic principles. As Islam suggests different sets of assumptions and principles to govern every aspect of life, including governance, distinguishing nature of the Islamic governance model or style compared to others. The effort is to transform Islamic ideals into practical realities. The gap between two determines the falah level through the level of Ihsani capital.